Hi guys, my name is Chris if you didn't already know, and welcome to my show SmegChris Review. Not review, review. In these videos I look back at episodes of SmegChris Review that I've done previously. I look back to see what news I came out with, or what trailers I looked at, or anything else, and also the film that I reviewed, I see if I still feel the same way now. And as you probably can tell from the shirt that I'm wearing, episode 2 of SmegChris Review was about Jurassic Park. But before I get to that, I did actually review films on my main show before I started doing SmegChris Review, and I believe I did one on my second episode entitled RoboChris. So what we're going to do now is look back on that episode to see what I said, and to be honest, I've no idea. Been a while since I've seen it. I saw another film the other day called Unstoppable, starring Denzel Washington and Chris Pine. It's about an unmanned train that is headed straight for a populated area with highly volatile chemicals as cargo. It's a very energetic type of film, and it actually had somebody in the audience, a woman, scream no during a tense moment. It is an excellent film, and I totally recommend watching it. Unstoppable. Let's see, do I have that in my collection? Yep, I still do. And I'm in agreement that it is still a good film. Trying to think when it was I last watched it. It must have been about 2 years ago, I think. Starring Denzel Washington, who I don't normally like, but recently a lot of his films I've started enjoying, like The Book of Eli. Is that what it was called? Yeah, right there. Also stars Chris Pine, whom obviously I like because he played Captain Kirk in the Star Trek films. Rosario Dawson, I love her, she's brilliant. But yeah, I definitely still enjoy this film. Starting to think maybe I ought to watch it again. Not right now, obviously. So, yeah, that's still in my collection. I still enjoy that. Seems that was the only film that I reviewed on that episode, so now I'm going to go to SmegChris Review episode 2, where I reviewed this. Well, Torchwood finally came to an end. It was mostly great, with lots of guest actors like Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters, John Delancey from Star Trek, but it seems that 10 episodes was far too much. They could have easily made it into 5 or 6. It was a satisfying end, although one of the main characters was killed off, again. Oh, and for the shock twist ending, I saw that coming a mile off. But it does leave it open for another series. Torchwood Miracle Day. Is that in my collection? Of course it is. Right here. So obviously I've watched it again since, when I bought the DVD. And I've forgotten that Ernie Hudson had been in it, and John Delancey. And for some reason I didn't mention Bill Pullman though. He was incredible in this. But unfortunately, they've never continued the story that it finished with. Had a bit of a cliffhanger. I mean, we have seen Captain Jack since, in fact just recently on Doctor Who, and in it he mentioned Gwen, but I'd love it if they did another series. Just to give it a proper ending, maybe one day. Right, how's this dusty? I cleaned everything only a week ago. Seriously. Ugh. That's what carpets are good for. Okay, now that I've put that back, let's see what else I said. It's now time for me to ramble on about the reboot of DC Comics. This new reboot was due to a 5-part series called Flashpoint, where we see the Flash, where he was up against Professor Zoom, his arch nemesis, where they changed history somehow, and then we had Aquaman and Wonder Woman at war with each other, and Thomas Wayne was Batman instead of Bruce Wayne. And for some reason Superman was a little weakling, because when he landed in Metropolis, somebody found him and they locked him up, and that's where he's been ever since. The outcome had history sort of returning to normal-ish. We see new costumes on our heroes for starters, and in the first 2 books we've got Justice League, where we see the heroes meeting each other for the first time, and also Action Comics, where we see Superman, just starting out. I do like this new take on things, for now. You see, comic books are written 18 months in advance, and my theory is that the DC Comics are hanging around waiting to see what the public reaction is, to see if this new reboot is actually a success or not, and if not, they will revert back to the original history. To be honest, I think they will anyway, because Action Comics reached issue 904, and that wasn't even affected by the last reboot, and I don't think they want to lose that because it's the longest running comic book in history. But we'll see, and it is exciting. The New 52. How bad was that, huh? They have sort of gone back to what it was before. They've slowly brought it back around. And they came up with some excuses of why it happened, like Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen was the cause of it, or part of it. All I know is that Action Comics reverted back to its original numbering and eventually hit 1000, as well as Detective Comics that did the same. But the New 52, I grew to not like it as much as I thought I would. So I'm glad that they started to revert more or less back to what it was before. Although there were quite a number of stories that I enjoyed that started bringing it all back, like Convergence. And that brought about the Superman who was married to Lois Lane, and somehow they managed to integrate him into the new Superman. Or should I say the new 52 Superman. But the thing is, they've managed to mingle what was before the new 52 and the new 52 together, and I like that. Anyway, enough about that. Let's see the movie review of Jurassic Park. One last thing. I went to see Jurassic Park at the cinema because it has returned for 2 weeks only, and it is my absolute favourite film of all time. It does have its flaws, but I love it nonetheless. Obviously I give the film a even after 18 years. I didn't really say much about that, did I? Is it in my collection? Oh yes, on Blu-ray. In fact, there's 4 films right there. It's still, to this day, my absolute favourite movie of all time. And on that video I said that I went to see it at the cinema. I've seen it at the cinema again since. And it was an IMAX showing, and I went there with my brother, his missus and my cousins. And I'm pretty sure I've watched it a few more times on Blu-ray. In fact, I believe the last time I watched it was, I'm going to say 2 years ago. So I'm due to watch it again. Like I say, it's my favourite movie of all time. And right now they're making number 6. I can't wait. Anyway, that's it for this episode. It's now time for me to go. All that's left for me to say is thank you for watching and subscribing if you have, and liking this video if you did. Until the next time, peace out. Do you know something? I've never actually reviewed on my channel The Lost World Jurassic Park or Jurassic Park 3. I have Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom, so maybe I should just do a quick one right now. Lost World Jurassic Park, absolutely love it. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's still in my top 20 films of all time. I mean, I know it's not perfect, but I really enjoyed it. And although a lot of people seem to not like the ending, I love it. Seeing a T-Rex running around San Diego, that was awesome. As for Jurassic Park 3, there's a lot of things wrong with it. For starters, it's far too short, there's no character development. I mean, it's still an enjoyable film, it's just the weakest of them all. And that's my review of those 2 films, which I may end up reviewing later on in the series at some time in the future. Knowing me, I'll forget. Old man memory.